Let me give you guys a bit of a history lesson. When Guardians of the Galaxy came out originally in 2014, we had only gotten Phase 1, Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, and Captain America Winter Soldier. And, so when something is arguably perfect and wild as this movie comes out, in a sea of comparatively boring and bland movies, you can see why Marvel movie fans loved it. It felt fresh. James Gunn breathed some life back into these movies, and it's easily in a lot of people's favorite Marvel movies list because it's just that good. And I think it's important for us to ask ourselves, why is it so good? When the MCU started out, the world felt relatively small compared to what we have now. We had seen New York, Germany, and we had seen Asgard, but other than that, we hadn't really seen much of the world. But with Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously we're exploring the galaxy to an extent. There is nowhere, there is the place where Thanos is. There's a bunch of different cool locations. There's Xandar. The world feels bigger. It feels like a world, like a galaxy. It doesn't feel like we're just, stuck on Earth in the same places we've seen in other movies. It's really fresh. It's really welcome. And it feels real. It feels like a real place with real people in it. You know, but that doesn't mean that it's not wild. It is very wild. It is very hyper, positive, upbeat, but it also has a lot of deep moments. It balances a lot of the light tone with the darker or more grounded parts of the story. It balances it all very well. There's not much to say here, but the casting in this movie is pretty much perfect, and the actors all seem to have really good chemistry on camera. It's awesome, and Chris Pratt is amazing. And with that being said, honestly, this movie is hilarious throughout the entire thing. I laughed several times at jokes I've already heard from the last times I watched this movie, but it's just that funny. Chris Pratt kills it. The entire cast is great. It's awesome. The soundtrack in this movie absolutely slaps. I love pretty much all of the 80s music, and it helps with setting the vibe that the movie wants. And it's kind of a key part in the characterization of Peter Quill, or Star-Lord. It's the music that he listened to with his mom, and that's the music that comforted him in his mom's final moments. Because, unfortunately, in this movie, she has cancer at the beginning, and basically this stays with Peter Quill throughout the movie. However, very little of it is actually shown or mentioned, but it is a very important character event, I would say. Something that affected Peter Quill and that you see really affects him towards the movie's climax and the end, actually, in the very big final showdown with the villain. It's very touching as long as you paid attention to the movie, and I loved it. I don't know if anybody else just thought it was a silly moment. Personally, I loved it. I love little moments like that. In fact, I'd say that there's a lot of really good character moments throughout this entire movie. Everyone feels like their own distinct personality, and I mean everyone, from We Are Groot to Everyone's Got Dead People to Daughter of Thanos to, mother with cancer and having to survive being kidnapped and then not being eaten by, potentially, if not outright stated, cannibalistic pirates, and then being tortured and subjected to biological experimentation. The overall message being everyone's got some messed up stuff happening with them, except for maybe Groot, but they kind of make up for that, in the end of the movie. But it shows you that they really care about the characters that are in the movie, that they wanted to use every character to the best of their ability to make them real people in the eyes of the audience. and it's very much appreciated. It's very good, very well done. You know, round of applause from me, little internet guy. I don't know. One small thing that we should talk about is all these little small pieces that are left throughout the movie, these little plot devices. They uh they were really surprising to me because I don't remember them from when I originally saw this movie. I don't remember them from, you know, before I had ever seen the second one. But what was really cool is that they dropped little hints, little plot devices that, you start to realize they matter in the second movie. And that was really cool to pick up on because that shows that they really do care about the details of the movies. Whether they planned that ahead of time or whether they just utilized pieces of the story they had already made. Either way, that's really impressive to see happening here. So now the question is, what do I actually think about this movie? Now, I really like this movie. I think overall, taking everything into account, from the actors to the comedy to the great character moments and to the wonderful music that gives this movie its overall vibe, I think I'd have to give this one an 8 out of 10. I absolutely adore this movie, and it makes me excited to see the others. All the sequels that James Gunn directed afterward. By the way, guys, don't forget to subscribe to see more videos that I'm about to put out. I plan on reviewing the second movie, and then I plan on going to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in theaters. So subscribe and be on the lookout for that. And if you disagree with me, if you think that actually Guardians of the Galaxy is somehow an awful movie, I don't know how you would think that, but go ahead and let me know in the comments. I would love the feedback. And yeah, thanks for watching.